Welcome, everybody, to Recovery Live, coming to you remotely from San Jose, California this week. It's actually morning for us here. We're coming at 9 o'clock in the morning here in San Jose. On the East Coast, it's 12 noon, our regular start time. Over there in the UK, it's 5 p.m. We're just so excited to be here, prepping for the City Teams Retreat, going to start this afternoon. I want to welcome my co-host Sean Higgins. We're sitting right next to each other, which is very rare.
Look at this, guys. I love this guy. I've been giving him a lot of flack this weekend, but I'm here today to say that I'm sorry. I can get a little emotional on my pre-workout when we get to the gym. I get a little jacked up. Next thing you know, the razzing gets a little. So I'm going to do a 10-step on air, guys. I'm sorry, Tom.
It's what we do. It's living in the go. I already forgave you before you did it because I know.
Hey, I'm excited. We're here in California, which you guys know who've been watching. It's been cold where I live, so I'm pretty pumped that we don't have to be cold. It's like 69 degrees here right now.
Yeah. I mean, and gorgeous. Not a cloudless sky. Just that classic California weather that you would expect.
100%.
Yep. And we've been prepping all week. We flew in on Wednesday, getting ready for the retreat here at City Teams. And we went over yesterday and we met with some of the facilitators of City Teams, even some of the participants and some of the attendees. And it's just, the energy is just fantastic. And we're expecting miracles. Very typical to find that they are going to be hearing things they haven't heard before.
I actually was, a shout out to the City Teams organization, because I was pretty impressed at these guys. Like I went around and shook everyone's hand at lunch, and I've been to homeless shelters and recovery programs like this before, and you always end up with, I don't know, what do you think, 25% who don't even want to look at you. And these guys were all excited. They were happy we were there. They were pumped. We had them cheering. So I'm expecting a pretty positive experience. And a lot of that is because City Teams has these guys prepped and ready to rock and roll. So I think we're going to see a lot of miracles this weekend.
Yeah. So what is City Teams, right? City Teams really, it's a rescue mission in an area of San Jose where the homeless condition is just, beyond the scope of what many of us see. So they're a rescue mission. They're a rehab, not an inpatient, but a resident rehab. And they have a homeless outreach. So there's a lot of stuff going on at City Teams, and they're trying to help a lot of people on a bunch of different levels. And we're going in there to deliver this message over the weekend to pretty much everybody. They're bringing everybody into this room, those that want to be there, those that don't maybe want to be there. And we're going to do our thing.
As long as it's not someone from our team who doesn't want to be there, I think we're fine. If like Dale Barker was like, I really don't want to be here, but I'll do it.
And the special thing about this trip, this is a new thing for us for Came to Believe Recovery to be coming into an organization like this. And we're doing it cost-free for the attendees. And we haven't done that before. So they were very appreciative yesterday and did express, the director of the place said this just wouldn't happen if we didn't come and do it for nothing.
100%.
There wouldn't be any money. So this message is a message that they would not have access to. And this is what we're trying to do around the world and around our country, is be able to take this message to places where people just would never have this opportunity.
Well, we're going to switch over here, Tommy.
I looked right away. They were trying to catch me.
That was good. No, I was ready I want to check in with who's with us today. We got Taryn Price. She's a Cali girl, right?
She's a Cali girl. She's not that far. We're on the same time zone, but she's going to now text and say we're not on the same time zone.
Wow.
Because she wants to be in Arizona.
We got Dale Barker here. Check it out. I'll even look at you right over there.
We got multimedia going today, guys.
We're good. We got Dale Barker going on there.
Let me go back.
Franklin. Hello, family. Jennifer. Good morning, y'all. Dale Barker again. I'm all in, baby. That's cool. And we got Daryl. Good morning. Awesome. Well, thanks for checking in with us, guys. Hey, I want to take this time to tell you about our t-shirt giveaway. If you can give me just 1 second, I'll get the hashtag recovered up. And if you put hashtag recovered into the comments on any platform that you're watching this on, you can get entered to win a free t-shirt. We're going to do a t-shirt today. So Hashtag recovered will get you in for a free t-shirt. What do you think of that?
I think it's awesome. Hey, I want to give a shout out to the 3 Summers creative team that came with us on this trip. Ty and Veronica came with us, and they're helping us create a mini documentary of exactly what's going on so that we can show to the world and to other places exactly what happens when we come in and deliver the message, the before and the after. And so far, it's been really eye-opening, I think, for them and for us, where the position that people are in. So we're really thankful that the 3 Summers super creative team is with us.
I'm pumped. I like Ty. I like Natalie. I was going to call her Vanessa.
You don't even know what her name is.
No, I like him. I like him a lot.
See, and for all of you who don't know, Vanessa, or whoever she is, has been really good to Sean on this whole trip. I mean, he doesn't even know her name.
Can we just get?
I
got phones going. I got chats going out. I'm trying, guys. I'm trying. I really am.
Tim Anderson, if you're on, add that to the names that we call her, Vanessa.
Vanessa.
That's in the
Ty was crying of laughter.
Hey, they know my name. I'm fine.
Yeah, Ty's in. Vanessa.
Oh man, I'm never gonna live this down, guys.
Never gonna live it down.
Semi-professional.
Yeah, right.
Well, we're having fun today. At least we're not a glum lot. It's kind of
my justification whenever I.
Yeah, he does. So, guys, if this is the first time any of you have joined Recovery Live, we know our audience grows week by week by week, and you're like, who are these guys and what are they doing? What are they talking about? At Kingdom Recovery, we've been running weekend retreats for over 50 years all over the country and the world. And what we do is we present the program of the founders of Alcoholics Anonymous exactly the way they did it back in the 1930s and early 40s, where they had a 93% success rate. Yes, they were doing it in a weekend. They were doing it very quickly. They were doing step 4s in an afternoon, and they were living in the go, 10, 11, and 12. And we show people how to do that and how our founders did it with great success. And that's what we're out here to do at the City Team's facility. Is we're going to take these guys through the program just like we do at another retreat. 3 days to freedom. It's been happening for 50 years, and it's going to happen for 50 more. So that's what we do. If you're interested or you want to know more information about it, you can go to came2believerecovery.org. You can find our whole list of retreats. You can reach out to us. We'd love to start a retreat in your area. We are actually expanding all over the place now. And
I think we should plug. We should probably plug the June one. I think it's a great.
Might as well plug it.
We don't have the official dates yet, but we do have the location picked out. A good friend of mine, Tim Doyle, down in Kansas. He might be Missouri. You never know because they say Kansas City, so you're like, I think it's St. Joseph's, Missouri is where he's from. But they're going to be having our first Came to Believe retreat in that area in June. So I'm pretty excited about that. Registration will be up as soon as we get all the details, and we'll be doing a lot of promoting for that one too, because we want to see this message across the whole United States, all the way through UK into Ireland. Man, from the sounds of it, Russia might need it there. We'll get into Russia. We'll everywhere. China. That's the goal, is just to end addiction worldwide. So
it's good. One of the things we are bummed about, Sean and I both, are when we came to San Jose. Any of you who have been watching our show know that we love to collect the Starbucks mugs. And both of us haven't been to San Jose before, and we thought there's going to be a Starbucks San Jose mug. And we're here to make the announcement, there is no San Jose mug.
Which brings me to our next giveaway, which is a coffee mug. And if you put in hashtag boycott Starbucks, you can get your free K-Believe mug.
Just a few of the other retreats, because after this weekend, next weekend, we're going to be up in Amory, Wisconsin at the Sanctuary, where we have a full sold-out retreat up there. We're going to be delivering the message. A few weeks later, we're going to be in the weekend of April. We're going to be doing Lake Junaluska, North Carolina. If you're in that area, we got open spots. Go on our website and register. We're going to be in North Carolina. A couple of weeks later after that, Mother's Day weekend, we're going to be back here in California at Redwood Glen, of which we're all traumatized because of the road trip. Any of you that have been on the road to Hana, the road to Redwood Glen. We nearly lost Vanessa.
I actually agreed. I thought that was her name. I was like, oh yeah, we did almost lose Vanessa.
We didn't. So it's not, it was quite a trip, but we are going to be there once we got there. It was a wonderful place.
If you want to drive an hour and not go straight for an eighth of a mile, this is your trip. This
Right.
is your retreat.
It had a 40-mile-an-hour speed limit. There's no chance that unless we were in Alicia's car, maybe we would have been able to do 40 miles an hour. But we're going to be out at Redwood Glen, and it's in a redwood forest, basically. Redwood, it's unbelievable. So the location is great. Yeah, right. It's like where you go in and you can never leave. What's that? Hotel California. Redwood Retreat, California.
I like
we
it.
should play the song.
You
guys missed it. You all missed it.
I don't have the opportunity. I'm kind of I know. Here, so let's go.
That song came out before you were born.
Yeah, let's go over to the comment board here. So I got one I want to throw up here.
Yeah.
Melissa McManus on Sunday.
Hi, Melissa.
Over here, Tom.
Oh.
On Sunday, I celebrate 2 years clean and sober. If it wasn't for Cane to Believe recovery, I would have died. Well, that's pretty cool. So, not that you almost died, but that you found freedom. So cool. I wanted to shout out to Melissa McManus. Tell them, she's pretty big in the UK world, right?
Yeah, Melissa's been part of our team over there in the UK. She helps us with registrations on the UK retreats. I spent almost a week with Melissa when we were almost got arrested carrying her bag on a train in London. I had no idea you're not allowed to go on and off a train. Dee saved me. We're going to bring Dee on in a minute. They were literally going to take me in cuffs, I think. And Dee was saying, no, he's a dumb American. I don't think she used dumb, but I was. Actually, she saved me twice in England. But anyway, yes, Melissa is a great asset to her team. Turned around, I remember when Melissa came.
Don't say dumb. We can't say dumb American on this show.
But I'm calling myself that.
Well,
so
I don't like to watch you rip on yourself. I got high value for you.
You just want to save it all for you doing it?
No. You said you forgave me.
I never do. So keep going. We're going to do the Mother's Day weekend retreat at Redwood Glen. Weekend later, we're in Leesburg, guys. And Leesburg is like the flagship retreat for Came to Believe Recovery, 13th through 15th of May. Come down there in the hot weather. Then literally the next weekend, Came to Believe we're going to be back in California, in Nevada City, which is near Auburn. It's different than where Redwood Glen is. So then in July, we'll be in Prescott, Arizona. And in June, again, we're going to be at this new one. And who knows? Things are just rolling with retreats all over the world and the country. And then there's a whole bunch that'll start up in the UK again in August, I think. And Dee can come on and tell us about that. But they, too, had one just recently that was packed. More people than they ever had. Dee can give us a little update on that. Fantastic. Same things that happen here are happening over there in the UK. Lives are being saved.
There's a hunger for it right now. There really is. I mean, the cool thing about this city team's retreat in San Jose, California, right outside of San Francisco, they invited us to come out here because people are hungry for this message. They really wanted to see what we were all about. So pretty pumped about that. Somebody up here commented that they're in favor of boycotting Starbucks too, and I know it's a joke. I'm not a fan of Starbucks coffee. It's not. I'm just not. So I kind of thought this would be a good time in the comment section. If you're going out for coffee, where are you going? Are you hitting up? In my area we got Dunn Brothers. I know in his area it's all about Dunkin' Donuts. If you
Dunkin' Donuts.
That's what I hear the boss would be. They go Dunkin' Donuts.
Dunkin' Donuts.
No.
What? I'm looking in dismay.
I've heard it. My dad goes out there on a sales rep. That's how he says it.
Just say coffee.
Well,
can you say coffee?
I want to know where they're going to get their coffee. That's all I want. In the comment section, if you are you're
Costa, I've been in Costa. That Melissa says that's good.
Never heard of it.
Costa, it's in New York. We go there, man. We went to Costa on our trip. They're good. Mm-hmm.
So rep your coffee brand.
Rep your coffee brand. Yep.
Where do you go?
I go to Starbucks. If I go to Starbucks. But they've been closed in my area. I think I tell you too, back here in California, we're not wearing our masks now, but we probably are supposed to be. They're pretty locked down still here in Santa Clara County in California, and the masks mandates are still in effect. But we're dealing with it.
I would risk getting COVID to be within 6 feet. Just being honest.
Everybody has to be rolling their eyes.
That could be a new pickup line. I'm not hitting on you, but that could be like a 2021 pickup line.
What'd she say? Tom, I threw a hissy fit at Costa because they had no drip coffee. Melissa, I'm not sure it was a hissy fit, but that's really a little aggressive, you know, for someone who carried your bag on the train for you so you could go home. Anyway.
We got a couple of them coming in. We do have, here's a fellow Starbucks person with you. I don't know if this is a real place or if she's making fun of me. Taryn, you'll have to fill us in as what's going on. We got Hardy's Coffee Bar. Oh, that's from Vanessa over there. She likes Hardy's Coffee Bar. Tom threw a hissy fit.
I have to do this.
Oh, Doc Bucks. Doc Roth. He brews his own.
Yeah, I like that.
Kitchen.
The kitchen. Yeah. Who said the kitchen?
Fred Lemons. He's my buddy from Wisconsin. He's
awesome.
You know, I'm a kitchen guy too. I have an Espresso, the one with the big pods, the Verado or whatever it's called.
Bougie.
He's bougie. I'm bougie about it, but it's really good coffee. So
really good. Well, why don't we bring our guest on today? Why don't we bring Dee on? I see her in the backstage area. I'm sure she wants to join. She may join and help give you a hard time, Sean. I'm hoping.
I don't really want her to give me a hard time.
Hi, Dee. I want to welcome Dee in, and Dee is coming to us from Manchester, England, and it's really far.
Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Good to hear. Can you hear me?
We can hear you perfectly.
Perfectly, wonderfully over the pond. Good to see you guys. Hearing the backstories of you nearly getting arrested. The funny thing is, you're telling that story, Tom, about nearly getting arrested, but just because you thought that the train guards were policemen, but they were just train guards. They were not policemen. Yeah. And train guards cannot arrest you. So I lovely story. I sort of almost don't want to break it because it's a great one, but they did tell you off. Because you were not meant to be. They did tell you off. Yeah, they did.
We're just making a camera adjustment. You wanted that down a little bit? Yeah, that's what we did. Yeah, they did to me. But the one in the street when I jaywalked, they were police, right?
Oh, yeah, that was police.
Remember when I jaywalked?
Yeah, that was
I was doing a New York thing, guys. It was just across the restaurant we were going to was across the street. So he just crossed the street. And Dee was like, no. I'm like, ah. And those guys were coming after me. She saved me again.
That's the kind of tyranny we escaped in 1776. I'll leave that so you and Tom can finish the show.
I was just going to say, guys, you have to excuse me if I'm in the middle of having, and this is all part of, because we're talking about the ups and downs and everything, I believe, on this session. So there's an amazing thing, good things going on. So I've had like my floors downstairs completely sanded and varnished. And I keep if I cough, I'll have to take a drink of water and you just have to excuse me. I do hope I don't go into a coughing fit. It's really strong, really, really strong in here. So very dry throat. So cheers with the water.
She has water. Well, cheers.
Cheers with the water.
I got coffee. The only one that gets it right is Taryn Price.
Is that why she put that on there?
It is why she put it on there, yeah.
Oh, cool.
She's a fan. Taryn hardly ever gives me a hard time.
I like Taryn. Mm-hmm. All right, life's ups and downs. So ups, you're talking about, you get some new hardwood floors. Downs, you got to cough on the dust. There's always something. There's always one against the other, right?
It always is. It's always there. So Leanne is saying that I must be high, but I don't think I am. But they do say about varnish being a little bit dodgy. So whatever. So that's it. And thank you, Leanne, for saying, come on, Dee. And I'm really, from our home group on a Tuesday night with so Tom, Leanne.
I sure do. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so from our home group. So it's lovely to see you there. Anybody else from the home group, say hello. Tuesday night, 8:00 UK, 3 p.m. EST.
Marlene is on, watching today.
Marlene's there, is she? Oh, hello, Marlene. Hiya. That's brilliant. It's great to see the home group.
Dublin in Ireland, or near Dublin. I would say Dublin because that's where she's. I think she's in Dublin proper.
Yeah, Dublin, Ireland. Yeah.
So life's ups and downs, right? I mean, we are living in the go, right? 10, 11, and so it's what we talk about. We steps 1 through 9, and we learn what makes us tick and what doesn't make us tick, and what we have to keep an eye on. And we have God remove our defects of character, because step 7
Really works.
really works. And then we're just managing our mistakes and managing those life's ups and downs. And the thing is, right, guys, life does go up and down. But we were talking about it before we went live, that we can choose to be level, even though things are going up and down. Things can go up and things can get down. But we can choose to ride that wave level.
You know what I learned that I think would really kind of fits with this topic is like if you count trees' rings, if they're close together, it was a really stressful period in their life. But if they're farther apart, it was like a really peaceful period in their life. So like, make sure you're gonna have wide rings and you're gonna have tight rings.
Did a tree tell you that?
No, somebody told me that at church.
Tree?
No,
Sure.
they cut it down. I don't know. Someone told me at church. I don't know how they.
Don't we want to know, where did Sean know whether
Because
they're
finally,
stressed or
we
not?
got to hit the wizard in the background. Because Sarah, they're find the article.
So we talk about ups and downs rather than trees.
Yeah. Well,
Listen, Dave, if there's a tree talking to Sean, we really
my
need to
goodness.
know about it.
Yeah,
Now,
we probably do. And he might need to. He might need to
right.
go
We know
in.
the hints on the
Yeah.
Lord of the Rings, but we haven't found any here yet.
No, we haven't. So I'm just thinking about what the importance of being able to, what you just said about, and you see, I don't see that as a boring. When I first stopped drinking and drugging, before I went through the steps, I thought that being at an even keel, I identified that as boredom. And then I went through the steps and I realized, no, it is not boredom. It is actually being comfortable and peaceful. And I'd never really experienced it. So there's been a lot of stuff that's gone on in my life, both before and during drinking, and then in recovery. And since I've been through the steps, some really, really, really big lows as well as highs that could have thrown me away from comfort and peace. Although, I'm not saying that things don't dip or go up, but there is almost like something that's happening in the background of a feeling within oneself of knowing that everything's all right. That's the important thing. And why I was aligning with this, my floors being done downstairs. When I came into recovery, I owed thousands, like 50, 60,000 pounds worth of debt when I came in. And I didn't make much of a dent in owing that until I went through the steps. And then when I went through the steps, loads of things have happened. But now I would have been able, and I lost my home. I lost everything. I had no home. That had to be sold to pay off some of the debt. And then there were just credit cards and everything there. And now I've got my own home. And this is my own home that I have been able to buy despite all that. And I don't even know how it happened, because I don't earn loads and loads of money. But whatever's happened is I've been given the support in life through God. It's through the fact that, my creator has given me not only gifts, but shown me how to manage my life, and including work, etc. So this place here, I've just had it all. It's Victorian. I've managed to get the floors all done beautifully, sanded and all beautifully varnished. That is such an amazing thing to have happened to somebody that was so low, that had really, really been so very, 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 very low. So it's another example of wonderful things. Now, the fact that I'm sort of might start with a coffee fit at some point, which Leanne is insisting is something to do with me being high. It's fine. It's completely fine. But some very, very awful things have happened in my life. So both in recovery and before recovery.
And today, and I've had that too. I had a real comeback when I came in. I had a huge amount of debt too, which I cleared out of, and debt almost in life, where I went back to school and I reinvented myself. This is all part of this process of coming back and not letting a low or what had happened to us in the past keep us down. We're able to rise from the ashes like our phoenix, like Tim Anderson made from us, and come back at it. But that does not mean that it's always perfect every day. But I will tell you one thing. I wake up in the morning, and I have to walk the talk. I do. And when there are a low day and I want to whine and cry and I want to feel sorry for myself, I have to remember that step 7 really worked. And instead of that, I say, darn it, do I believe what we did or don't I? And I'm going to go be honest, unselfish, do something with a pure motive and do it in love. And I just can't let those down things manifest in my life anymore.
And being able to identify as well the difference between being in self-pity or like going into a negative low mood where you're sort of, as Clarence Snyder would say, meditating on, worrying is meditating because you're meditating on the negative. But then being able to feel real sadness and to be able to grieve properly when people die. I've lost people have died that were very, very close to me since I've been through those steps, and I've been able to grieve properly. And I understand that that's a gift, because grief comes in like waves. It comes in like waves, but it comes out again, and there's relief. But it shows, I've just been reading something today about that, to grieve shows that you're able to love. And I didn't used to grieve. And I remember going to some people's funerals when I was, before I went through the program, and I was in my selfish, self-seeking way. And I actually remember, this is just awful, but I have admitted this to someone else already in my inventory, that I would try and make myself cry because I thought I ought to cry in front of people, and that I wanted attention as well. So, and for this to have happened, that I'm not that self-seeking woman anymore, that I can feel sadness and grief, but in general, I don't go very, very, very low. I get fed up at times, that, Tom. Sometimes we have a discussion, we're like, anyway, so.
Well, that's really important, Dee, it's how we look at it and what we do about it. But that there are sad things, and there are things that suck and things that get us angry. It's not denial. Sometimes something just sucks, but we choose how to deal with it differently today, and we choose how we're going to react and act towards it in love, and we're going to move on. And this happens all the time.
To stick with the trees, they lose their leaves sometimes, and then they get new ones. It's like up and down with the.
What did they tell you about that? The tree that you talked to?
I am the Lorax. I just speak for them. They don't speak to me.
When he gives me something, guys, I just have to run with it. All right, let's see what Casera found out. Scientists can use 3 rings and cores to measure the age of a tree and learn more about the local climate conditions the tree experienced during its lifetime. In nowhere in this explanation that Casera so educationally found with us does it discuss a tree talking to anyone.
I never said that. It's the climate. If it was a harsh climate, they're closer together. If it was a good climate.
No, but it doesn't say that. But you said the trees were happier or sadder.
I would like to
believe less stress. That's what you said.
I would like to believe that there's probably.
I would like to believe.
Like, do you guys ever see a few good men? We can read back with a reporter. We can read back.
There is. I can make an honest assumption that there's probably a longer definition of what's going on with the trees than the one paragraph Casera posted. But we'll get. Thank you for
see that, Casera. You're wrong.
Thank you.
You're wrong, Casera. See, you're wrong too.
We're all wrong. You know what?
This guy that you guys all defend.
We need Forrest McCullough on here to tell us about the trees. We should bring him on next time.
She just threw you under the bus because they're saying she just couldn't find the right one for me. That's all I heard it. Yeah. Anyway, all right, ups and downs. When you're with Sean Higgins, it's a lot of downs.
A lot of highs.
A lot of downs. When you're dealing with Sean Higgins in person. It's exhausting.
All right, here's the
There we go.
here's the real deal. All right. I like to believe that with the program, I no longer have ups and downs, or good days and bad days, because I have the tool to just be at peace. I'm happy, joyous, and free in all situations. It's when I'm not in the program that all of a sudden I start to ride this wave. In the program, there is no wave. It's even keel across the board. Yeah, if somebody passes away, there's hard days like that, but those are far and few between. It's not a regular occurrence. So like, yeah, there's a time to grieve and there's a time to be sad, and that is 100%. But when I'm working 10, 11, and 12, oh man, I get hit with this guy ripped me off, and I get, oh, I got a bonus at work. It's not like I'm going like this. I'm already right across the board with it.
I can go with that, Sean. And I tell you, this is the bit about that knowing you're all right, despite the fact that stuff's going on. And so I think some people know here that when the pandemic hit, there was something quite dramatic happened. I just sold my house and I put the money in the bank, and I was waiting a couple of months to buy a place, and the pandemic hit, and basically I had to move out because it was infested with rodents, and I had to move out, and I went into a hotel, and it was just as the first lockdown happened, and they said, well, we're closing hotels now as well. And so I was homeless suddenly, from being somebody that had her own home, and I had money in the bank, and I rang the bank and I said, I have this money in the bank. And they said, well, we don't know what's going to happen. The whole economy might completely collapse. So we can guarantee 50% of what you have there, but we can't guarantee the rest. And that's just an ordinary bank account, like a savings account. And I lost money as well. That was in another thing, because everything just completely dropped out. So I was homeless, completely homeless. And my family, I ended up, that's why I'm in Manchester now, was that my family took me in. I can honestly say that I was not in a terrible state. It wasn't nice. It was not, and it was a good lesson about, you think you've got everything and money means nothing, because it didn't at those few days, over those few days, and then into the weeks that followed. But then what happened was I would pray and turn my will and my life over to the care of my Creator, of my God, that I believe takes care of me. And I just got offered this house for hardly anything that I could live in, because somebody had to move out with their family. And I ended up in this really lovely house while I was there, until I was able to go and actually buy a property, this one I've got here. And you've been, Tom, you've seen my little house, which I love. I'm so love it. Yeah. And so out of all that, and being actually homeless as a woman that thinks she's got everything sussed, and that was a big shock, but it did not affect my serenity, although there is no doubt, of course, I had days where I was worried about a few things. You know what I mean? But I think that's the difference. It's not like, oh, I'm just happy, joyous, and free, like some sort of robot. You know what I mean? I'm happy, joyous, and free. I'm happy like a little doll that's been wound up. Not like that. I do feel things, but I don't dip into great fear or great, not just fear, things like, self-pity. I don't go into those. So I think that is purely, well, it's not, I know that comes from working the 12 steps, using the tools that I have in steps 10. So if I've got anything I'm worried about, I can do a step 10. Step 11, I improve my conscious contact with this power. And then I go and help. And one of the things I did, I just got right in the center. We run, how many? Was it 15? How many virtual retreats did we run, Tom?
15. We've done 15.
And what happened was Tom and I were on the phone one day, and we're like, oh my gosh, this is the same period. The retreats are going to have to all close down. They're just going to have to all close down. And we just had this idea, didn't we? We said, well, could we do it on Zoom? And we had made some phone calls. We didn't know how it would work. We didn't know whatever. 15 retreats, virtual retreats down the line, people recovered. And there are people with us that have never been to an on-ground retreat that recovered. sponsoring people, helping people, going to our fellowship meetings, being available, loving our neighbour as ourselves, even despite the fact that my neighbour has not been, my real neighbour next door sometimes been a little bit difficult. I have not had a resentment at her. I've not had a resentment. I've just been firm, been completely firm.
So guys, that story about Dee, and I wrote a little one about some adversity can actually be a witness to how well the program works. Because Dee called me when there were rats in her place walking around, and she was in tears. It was a tough time. I remember that, a really tough time. But she stood strong, and she was upset, and it was a thing. It was real, so she didn't deny it. But she did what she had to do to get out of it. And it's a testament today. And never once did I hear her say, "Oh, I think I'm going to drink," or "Oh, poor me," or this. But it was a situation that she had to walk through. I had the mold situation in my place, and I had to move out for 3 months, and my entire life was turned upside down. And it was an opportunity. While it was upsetting, and it truly is a people in life, I had an opportunity to really live the principles that we teach everyone. And at the end of it, both the mold guy and the landlord couldn't believe. The mold guy told my landlord, "You got a really great tenant," because most of them would have had big fit. And the tenant said to the mold guy, "You won't have to worry about our tenant because he's really reasonable." And in the end, I could have screamed and yelled about it, but in the end, I think we touched some other people. So we use these things, right, Dee? That to be as a witness, it's as much as we got to get through it, but it ends up being a witness to others that step 7 really works. And this God that we have really does guide us and keep us safe and not leave us or forsake us. You and I are both out the other side of it. Fine.
100%. Well, I think it's been a great session. I think we got to move on to our T-shirt giveaway and another little segment. We're going to do the a little bit of the watered down AA segment. We don't got our cool little logo yet, but we're going to talk just a tiny bit at the end about
watered down AA.
So we really appreciate you coming on, Dee. Everybody say thank you, Dee.
Dee, she's 8. You know how far she is from us? She's 8 hours away from us right now, Sean.
I don't even know how
8
is that
hours.
possible.
I know. It's
by plane?
Technology time zone. Oh, by plane, it's more like 12 or 14.
Yeah, about 12. I was going to say I'm about 12 hours away from you. Before I go, I just want to say it's just lovely to see everyone on here, see Melissa's on here, my great support in all the retreats. The one we had 70 people. I'm just so grateful to her, to all the work, to Leanne and Marlene, who help us, myself and Tom, to secretary the Canterbury meeting on a Tuesday. I can see other names. Doc helped us out with service for a while when we were in need of help. So, and Dale, my great friend Dale, who, I've met and eaten with and enjoyed time with and had some fun with on here. So there's more people, and if I've missed anybody out, I'm really sorry, but it's just lovely to be with you all. And bless you, Sean, you are the man. See ya.
Bye. I'd like to kind of continue on.
She takes a shot right when she leaves.
We got to
You are the man.
Yeah, but check it out. It's kind of it's a group consensus going. We got Sean Higgins is a good man from Tim Sites. I like that.
Oh, you paid him to do that.
Money, got to put your money where your mouth is, Tom. All right. So remember, we're going to be doing our T-shirt giveaway here in a little bit. So type #recovered in the comment section of whatever platform you're watching on, and you'll get entered into that drawing. We'll do that here probably at the end of the hour. Tom and I are excited to talk about a little bit of a new segment we'll be doing right at the end of every show. It's called Watered Down AA, because we want to make sure that we're not watering down the message of the founders. And what I want to talk today about, Tom, is the 4-step. What happens if you, how would you water down the 4-step? What has happened from the time? It's almost like the 4-step wasn't watered down. It was pumped with steroids. Like it was made into this bigger thing than it actually needs to be. So we had a chance to film some stuff yesterday about the 4-step and what we thought about the process. And I thought it'd be kind of cool to kind of finish off the show with talking a little bit about that. So from the time they started, the founders, 1938, they write this book about what they did that got them sober. They didn't make the book and then get sober, right? They wrote the book after they said what had happened to us. And so they had a pretty good idea of what the 4th step was about. And what was that?
The 4th step was about identifying the natures of your wrong, the big picture character defects, that which caused you to act out and create all the behaviors that had you in failure. It was about a big picture look at who you were as a person.
And in the book, it's it's a little bit different in the big book than we do it, but that doesn't. But where we got it from actually predates the big book. We got it from the way that the Midwest founders of AA did it. You had the Midwest group and the New York group, and they were at odds with some things. And one of the things they were at odds about was the 4th and 5th step. So when we got this message from Clarence Snyder, passed on to Steve Foreman and Jack Rapp, and then they passed it on to us. They were saying, no, this is how Clarence Snyder did it. This is how he did it with Dr. Bob. This is how they did it in Akron, Ohio, was the way that we're doing it, and which was to look at the exact natures of our wrong, our character defects, our shortcomings. It doesn't say a long list of all the garbage. I mean, come on. I don't want to talk about every little tiny thing I ever did wrong. I want to know why I did it, because that's what we're asking God to remove in step 7, right?
It is, and Sean, I've been reading through the big book because we get that defense sometimes from people who say, the big book has the columns and you have to do a negative autobiography. But if you read it in a certain lens, which I've been reading, it's really clear, read a certain way, that you were using the columns to identify the nature. If you needed to look into something a little bit, but once you had that nature, that's really what they were looking for. 4 times in that 4th step, even in the big book, it says, where were we selfish, dishonest, fearful, or I forget the 4th one. It shows that that's really what they were going for. And that's what, once you found that out, the big chunks of our nature, there's really clear indications that the way we're doing it, even the way they have it in the big book, still is to do it quickly. And guys, listen, how could you do it quickly if you did a negative inventory? And how can you even remember everything that you did?
Well, and Tom makes a great point there. And another really important thing to keep in mind is that we link 4 and 5 together, but it's actually 4 through 7 that are linked together.
Right.
You make the list, you share it with someone in God, you get ready to have God remove your defects of character, and then you humbly ask him to remove those defects of character or your shortcomings. If it was about making a list of all the bad things we had done wrong and asking for forgiveness, then step 7 would be worded, we ask God to forgive us for everything we did wrong in the past. But what we're actually doing is asking him to remove the nature that caused us to behave like that in the first place. And what you use a 4-step inventory for is like a mirror to say, like, oh, I did this because I have this root cause. This is my the wound that I need healed. I don't need to put a Band-Aid on it and stop bleeding. I need to actually sew this baby up and get rid of it for good. So we use a 4-step to say, like, wow, look at all this stuff that caused me these things mean that I have this character defect, which is dishonesty, self-pity, immoral thinking, all sorts of other stuff, resentment, anger. And so when we do that in the 4th step, then we share it with someone in the 5th step. In 6, we get ready to say, hey, God, you're going to take this, or I want God to take this. And then in 7, we humbly say, will you please take it? And that's where we find, boom, we change. If we really believe it, because we believe step 7
really works.
Yeah.
I'm sure, and I've heard this, and so it's not just my opinion, it's through experience, that a lot of people are stopped in recovery with the 4th step when it's presented to them the way it is in a lot of the mainstream programs, not just in AA, but in rehabs and centers of every type. When I got sober, when I was still in my fog, right? Think about when you were. 4 or 5 days later, if somebody had said to me, all right, we need you to get down and write this imagery, you're going to write everything about your life. You've got to. I couldn't even hold a pen.
Yeah.
How my brain wasn't working. Yeah. It seemed like too much, guys. It would have absolutely been discouraging to me. I would have thought, I'm never going to be able to do this. What I did not need when I was getting sober was this difficult, hard, very almost judgmental process that I was going to have to go to. But if you told me, Tom, can you just figure out those few things that has caused you to do all these things? And we're going to get rid of them. We're going to let this God get rid of them. And that's all you got to watch out for the rest of your life. And you're going to be okay. And we can do this tomorrow. I could do that. That's something I could do. And that's the great hope of what we do.
Well, it stops you from justifying, you might say like, hey, I only did that. I only stole because I really had no other choice. That's, you can justify all those little things that you did. But when you say like, oh my gosh, I'm a dishonest thief. Like you can't justify that. Like on drugs and alcohol, this is who I am. This is my character. This is what I've become. And to be real careful out there, guys, I want to stress this. It's who you are on drugs and alcohol, which should be really good motivation to want to keep going in the steps to not drink, because it's not who you are really. It's not the real you. It's you after using drugs and alcohol, what you become. I think it's mean, really, honestly, to say like, okay, now you have no power. We're going to do a step a month. So you're 4 months clean, which is a really challenging spot to be if you haven't really experienced the power of the steps. You're white knuckling at this point. I've been, you're probably in post-acute withdrawal syndrome. It's a really challenging spot. You say, okay, great. You're on step 4 now. Now you're at the worst spot you've been in the last 4 months as far as white knuckling it. And we're going to make you look at all the bad stuff you ever did. Make a list and tell me how crappy of a I saved that while live on Facebook. How crappy of a person you are. And that's not.
It's not a great picture, but Sean, you're telling a right scenario, and I think a lot of people go through. Is it doing it? It drags it out forever and ever and months. Listen, I needed a life-changing experience. I needed to get to this place and be relieved from the obsession. I couldn't stop drinking for a week, 2 weeks. How was I going to go for 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 months? And I don't even know where they got it all. Mm-hmm. We heard this weekend that somebody said, from a position of authority, you have to take your time with the steps. You got to pace yourself. And we're trying to figure out where that it went, where they got that from. Like, there's no place in the book that says you have to take your time. Anyway, we want you to have freedom, and we want it, if you're suffering, to have it today.
Well, there's some of those things, man. They just drive me. Like, I just want to. It's like I came in and there, like, I'm like 3 days sober. I had been like digging fingernails out of the carpet and smoking them, thinking they were leftover meth shards. And they're like, hey, you can pick your own higher power at this point. Like, oh, really? I get to decide who God is in my life at 3 days sober? Like, what the heck? Like, how? Even then, I was like, no, I can't do that. That's not.
It is, and that is good too, because that whole my conception thing and the God as we understood him thing get linked together in a lot of programs today, which is I got the God of my understanding and it's my own conception. They're two separate things, and we're going to explain that real clearly to everybody this weekend, that they don't mean the same. You needed a powerful God. You needed a God that was a supernatural creator of the universe. He does it. And let me tell you guys why you wouldn't want somebody who says I can rip those things out and turn you into a new person and give you a life that's happy, joyous, and free. I don't know why you wouldn't want it. It can happen too in a weekend.
Amen. Listen, guys, I got some bad news. I know. It's like Tom said, it's all down. The computer for the giveaway is dead. It's dead. It was fully charged when we started this. We just burned right through it.
I'm just looking over at Ty. This is what I live with. And why is it dead?
I don't know.
Why is it dead?
I plugged it in and everything.
No, you didn't.
Yeah, I promise you guys I did.
This is our life.
All right. We're going to let it.
With Sean Hager.
But check this out, dude. You always can roll with it. There's always a solution. I'm going to say, Sarah, can you go through the comments and just pick someone at random who put #recovered in there? And just put their name across the bottom of the screen. Make sure it says winner, too, because we don't want to lose that. See, Tom? Rolling with the punches, going with the waves. You were ready to just lay down low and drown in that wave, but I'm like surfing on top right now.
No, we would have come around. I just wanted to make sure that you're accountable for, failure, not for failure. Nice.
Oh, who is this guy over there?
Finally, Dale.
I can't.
Utter failure.
I can't do it. Look at him over there. Stop.
Utter failure.
Your phone's not dead yet.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, I'm taking shots.
I got to tell you guys, in an event like this, my computer has never died. My phone has never died, and it won't ever die. I don't know why. What's the difference? My brother? Yeah, that's right.
it's nice.
Well, we love the big dog. He's still with us.
I'm just glad that I can be humbled on a daily basis in this program. I don't want my head to get too big. So on that note, we'll wait for Sarah to post on the bottom who won. And
Yeah.
oh yeah,
Jennifer LaRoche. Winner.
We'll pretend, let's make the confetti come down.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're at the top of the hour. We've had absolutely wonderful time with you guys here from San Jose, California. Looking forward to doing the city teams retreat. I wish we could do it. I kind of liked this with having the guys around us and talking. I think it was a better show than ever, but that's my opinion after every show.
Yeah, it's been great. We love doing this, guys. We love coming out to you. I know that we've done some snippets too, so some of you have already been following us on this trip. There's going to be a lot more to come. We look forward on Sunday afternoon to bringing you a praise report of us delivering this life-saving message and freedom to this group of people that are desperately in need.
Yeah, listen, if you are out there watching us right now and you haven't experienced the fourth dimension of existence that the big book talks about, there's nothing special about us. Nothing like God did not pick Tom and I because of anything we've done. It's
Right.
available to everybody.
Right.
Anybody out there can have the same life-changing experience that knocks them into the happy, joyous, and free category. And they can live that way. You can live that way for the rest of your life, as long as you just adhere to a few simple principles like 10, 11, and 12. So I am here to say, if that's you, then please check out cametobelieverecovery.org. Get hooked up with a meeting or a retreat. The legacy guide, which we use, is available online for you to download for free. You can get plugged in that way. Otherwise, check us out here every Friday, 11 a.m. Central.
12 a.m. Eastern.
Not a.m., p.m.
PM.
Eastern. We got it. So we all
Yeah.
make mistakes. It's okay. 5 o'clock in the UK. I know that one. And live from San Jose, California, from Came to Believe Recovery, we say have a wonderful rest of your week. Bye.
Peace out.